Hey friends, welcome back. This is Sugar and Spice, y'all. It's been a minute. We've been gone, but we back up in this thing, giving y'all some audio to listen to.
Okay.
And I'm just rambling. But this is Sugar and Spice, where we talk about all things life and answer all your questions about what's going on.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
In your personal lives, the Black community, pop culture, and world news. I'm Robin.
And I'm Chelsea.
Where did that energy come from?
Hey, I have to give the people the energy.
Oh, man.
We're back in the studio, back in the lab, back in the office.
We back, y'all. It's been some trying times trying to get our schedules and all that together.
Yeah,
But
you know, life happens.
it does.
We have other things going on, so
Yeah.
but
So what you got?
the truth of it, well, the fact of the matter is that we didn't let the fact that we couldn't meet up
Yeah.
for the past few weeks keep us from not meeting up right
Yeah.
now. We eventually got back to it. So here we are
Here
with
we are.
episode 10.
Episode 10. We in the double digits now, y'all.
We are in the double digits. So since it's been a minute,
Well, we got to figure out who's bringing the sugar and who's bringing the spice.
aren't we supposed to be doing something new with that? You never do it.
We're going to do that in season 2.
Oh, okay. So we just pushed that thing all
We're
the
going
way
to do
back
that
to
in season 2. We're giving
Okay.
y'all something to look forward to in season 2 to keep y'all tuned in.
Okay,
You
so who's bringing the sugar and who's bringing the spice?
Well, I think when you kind of came in, you kind of already had some things in mind as far as how you was feeling. You feeling a little spicy?
I'm not feeling.
You're
one
not
way or
feeling
the
no?
other.
Well, I'm feeling
just,
sugary.
I'm just here. I'm not feeling.
If somebody is just here, they are feeling spicy.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not pulled in either direction. Like, you know, I'm not feeling spicy. I'm not feeling sugary. I'm just
You just here.
maybe in the middle. Maybe a combination of both.
Okay, so you still just sitting in the pantry and the spice rack ain't figured out.
You know, that's my life right now.
Well, I'm feeling real sweet, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the sugar.
Well, by default, I guess I'm spice.
So what's been going on?
Let's see. What has been happening in my life for the past few weeks? I'm going to start with this. I don't think I've told you this, but your girl is officially card note debt free.
Oh my god!
Yes, ma'am.
I did not know that.
No. I've not shared that with very many people.
Sorry if that was loud, y'all.
But Chelsea is officially card debt
Saving
free.
that check, man.
Car debt free.
Yeah.
I paid off my car the end of February.
Nice.
The end of February, I sent off that last payment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just waiting for my payoff letter to come in the mail and my title, because that thing is mine.
Yeah, it's yours, and that's no
owe-
money that you can pocket every month that you can do
I
what
do
you
not owe
want.
the bank no more money.
Nice.
And the beautiful thing about it is I paid it off almost 6 months early
That's what's up.
before the term is over. So
But now you can help me pay off mine.
yeah, I can give you some tips
I
and
need
some
some
pointers.
Yes, with the tips and pointers come in the form of money.
No. I can't do that for you because I'm trying to get it together financially. But I was able, yes, I am officially car debt free. So I'm gonna need this car to
Keep
last
it, yeah.
me until the wheels fall off. My last car,
Yeah.
which my parents paid for. Literally, everybody know I drove that car until it could not be driven anymore.
Yeah.
So I plan to do the same with this one. So I hope it lasts a good while, because I have zero intentions of jumping into buying another car anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my good news.
Okay.
That has happened. Another piece of good news is I'm 2 weeks away from being done with grad school. So I'm I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am.
But
I'm tired.
yeah. Well, you should be more excited then, because by the time this is over, you get your rest and your life back.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I'm excited about that. I know
But just
everyone,
going through it is
just going through. And these last couple of weeks have been extremely busy with other things that I've had going on. I was just in a friend's wedding this weekend, which required me to travel. Then I will be traveling again this coming weekend for another milestone, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
But and then the following weekend, that's it. 2 weeks away, and y'all will not have to hear me talk about school anymore. But that's really all that's been going on with me, is that's my focus. I know a lot of people's like, what are your next steps? Right now, my step is to get through these next couple of weeks and be done with school. As far as celebrations, that will come. And when I know, everybody else will know. But for now, y'all just let me make it.
Just trying to get through the class. Yeah.
And then let me have a little bit of downtime before I start like pouring into planning. But, that's really it on my end. So I mean, it's good stuff. Just I've been quiet about some of the stuff, obviously.
Yeah, that ain't fun. No.
What you talking about?
Well, I don't know.
I'm referring to my car note. Like, yeah. I've been quiet about that. Only very few people do that, but I don't mind sharing it now. Hopefully it inspires other people to be financially responsible and try to knock out your debt. So, but anyway, enough about me. What's been happening in your world?
Okay, so I'm just going to tell y'all, my life is uneventful. Things don't happen. So most of the times whenever...
Okay. I'm sorry.
What?
This girl said her life is uneventful.
It is. It's the same story every day. It's like work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home.
I mean,
work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home. There's nothing outside of the ordinary. So most of my updates are going to be what I'm watching on TV.
Okay. All right.
Because that's like, that's my little time. And that's where that's my little escape. Because really, y'all, a true update on my life, I go to work, I come home. Well, the last month or so, I've been coming home and not really seeing my kid because, like, work.
Yeah.
So, that's it. I just go to work and I come home and I wish I saw my kid and then I go to sleep.
Do you see your husband?
Yeah, well, he goes to, I see him a little bit. Him and our child are kind of on the same sleep schedule a little bit. He goes to bed early because he has to be up so much earlier. So we don't really, just as of lately.
Okay.
Things should be changing over the next, coming weeks. But
so your life will hopefully become more eventful in the next couple of weeks?
I don't know if it's going to be more eventful. It's still going to be working home, but I'll at least be able to report that I saw my kid and I saw my husband.
Well, you know what? That's very important. So I'm going to hope those things for you as well. I don't want to hear the same story the next time we record.
But basically, I'll in my free time or the times where I'm like working late and I just have something on the TV, I've been watching a show that I've been seeing everybody else has been watching.
What, Love is Blind?
You already know.
Okay. All right.
Love is Blind. Have you watched it?
No, I
You have
not
any plans on
seen
watching it?
I don't know. Right now, I have zero room for a TV. Now, in a couple of weeks, when I have nothing to do when I go home after work, I might can add a few more shows.
Girl, just turn it on in the background. That's all you got to do. That's all I'll be doing. Turn it on in the background.
Okay, so tell me about this show.
Ooh. Okay, so Love is Blind is basically, it's a social, it's an experiment regarding like love and how love happens. So there's a group of guys.
And it is an experiment.
Yeah. There's a group of guys and then there's a group of girls and they don't see each other. Where the girls all kind of live in the same place and the guys live in the same place. But they don't physically see each other, the guys and the girls. So basically the whole point is for them to go into these little pods where they're like in connected rooms, but they can't see each other, and they just talk, and they just talk for hours and hours and hours at a time. Kind of like speed dating, I guess I would say. They were like hop from pod to pod to pod to get to know people and see who they have a connection with. So they talk for hours, and at the end of the day, whoever they have the strongest connection with, they propose, they get engaged.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, it's for
like
real.
Not meet, like they still haven't physically met.
They haven't physically met, but the connection that they have with each other is just so strong that they're like, oh my God, like I want to make this person my wife, or be married to this person and, you know, have him as my husband. So they get engaged, and once they are engaged, they get to meet. And then that's when the real true test comes, like, is love blind? Because you fell in love with the person not seeing who they are. Now, once you've seen them and are around them, are those feelings the same? Basically. And girl, when I tell you, as far as the physical aspects of the show go, I'm not going to tell you everything because I do want you to watch it. There weren't really too many, I don't want to say too many disappointments. Like, people were fine with how the person that they chose looked, but just transitioning who you were talking to in the real world in the pods versus who they are in the real world. And like, cause they get engaged, they go on a trip, like their little honeymoon type phase, not really a honeymoon, but just so they can spend some time away on vacation together, getting to know each other. And then after that, they, move in. I'm getting my shows crossed cause I watched Married at First Sight too.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure like they move in with each other, and then they kind of test the waters, and then they're supposed to go through, you know, with the wedding. So you have, it's just interesting to see. Some people on the show have secrets that they didn't. Do you know anything about the show? Because I don't want to spoil.
I knew that it was an experiment.
Okay, but that's as far as
that's
you know.
about as far as I have been told about the show. So.
Okay, so I will say, when you watch, there's like some things that people should have talked about prior to proposing to somebody that they didn't, that came out later.
It's stuff people should talk about when they see each other.
Exactly. But so you get to see kind of how all that stuff works out. They just had the reunion show like this past week, and it was interesting. But aside from that, like, you get to see the couples together, but then they also throw in that element where all the couples who were selected or who found a match, they're all like together. So you get to, like, so say you chose somebody, but you were kind of talking to somebody else as well. You get to see, like, you're around them as well. So it's like, oh, well, I was kind of really feeling this guy, but I chose this guy. So it's
that just sounds,
it's messy and interesting.
Messy, sticky.
But there are like some true connections that happen, and some that happen like very quickly, and it just kind of cause you to like think and wonder.
Now, is this a sitcom kind of show, or is this
a reality?
This is a reality show.
This is real life. These are people's real lives.
Oh, wow.
So this would be like you going somewhere, talking to Marcus, Michael, and John, and picking Marcus, and then he proposes.
I don't think I need to be in the pod to.
But it's interesting because it does allow you. That's all you're doing. It's just like talking to these people. So you
That's
get
energy, girl.
You get.
I ain't got it.
At least people got energy for real. And it's like some real like love connections that happen. Like I say, they happen. Some happen very quickly. And it's like, is this possible? Like, how can you talk to somebody for a couple days and then decide that you're like in love and it's like the person for the rest of your life when you've never been around them, don't know anything about them? So it's very interesting. I think you should watch it. It's good.
We'll see.
But as we're talking about the topic of like, is love blind? Mm-hmm. Love is blind. This kind of goes into our main topic a little bit because I can't say it because, well, I guess
go ahead,
you don't know who it is.
Like, I won't know what you're talking about until I watch the show, because there's no guarantee that I'm
going to watch it anyway. But, you know, is love blind? Does our background have any bearing on what we want to do with people or how we want to move forward with people? But there is like an interracial couple on the show. Mm-hmm. So that kind of leads into what we're talking about today, is race and relationships, and is love blind as it pertains to that. Can somebody of different cultures and different races really coexist together in a loving, lasting, healthy, happy relationship? And if they do, like, what are the impacts on that on everybody's emotional and mental well-being? Are they happy? Are there lots of challenges that they have to face? Just how that whole thing operates, and why people tend to, like, is it a problem for people to date outside of their race and outside of their culture? Is it okay? Like, what are the social impacts on that? So,
well, I guess, do you feel that love sees color? Just
no, I don't think love sees color. Well,
well,
I don't want to say, I don't want this to
say
sound
it.
bad.
Just say it.
But
say it, and then, I mean, talk it out.
Okay, so I don't want. Okay, so I don't think love itself can see color, but I feel like my brain can trick me into thinking that it does. Because
absolutely.
I may form a connection with. Say I was in this experiment. I may form a connection with a person.
Why we got to be in an experiment? Why this can't just be real life?
Because I've never dated interracially, so I can't really give like a real life experience to it. But I'm just thinking, if I was in this experiment, say I could have had like the bombest connection with like somebody from a different race. And I'm feeling all these feels about this actual person. But then once I meet them and I find out that they're not my own race, this is gonna sound bad, and I won't feel this way for every race either. They're like, so
all right, I already see the direction
that's why
of this conversation.
That's why I say is really is bad, but my mind is going to get to thinking about all these kinds of things. Like, I like this person, but our lives are so different. The way we were brought up the way we're brought up is different.
The way we see the world is going to be different.
And even if the way we see the world individually aren't different, because we kind of came up in the same generation, the way their family may see the world is different, and that could create conflict. Because
absolutely.
He may be okay with me and I may be okay with him, but our families may not feel the same way, which could add another element of pressure and stress. So what about you? What do you think?
I'm gonna kind of go with what you said. Do I feel that love itself sees color? No.
Yeah.
But we do. People do. So, like you, I feel like that you may come across someone opposite race of you, regardless of what their race is.
Yeah.
But maybe something in you somewhere are going to start questioning, certain things. Can we truly coexist? Really, like, how do you view certain things? How I view certain things? Like, are we going to mesh well?
Yeah.
Like, our experiences are ultimately going to be different. And how the world views us is going to be different, and that also plays an impact on on interracial relationships as well. And so I'm gonna say no, love itself doesn't see color, but I think that we do as people.
And I feel like even if I was like so in love with this person, a part of me is still, even if they haven't given me any signs that they feel a different way, a part of me is always going to wonder deep down inside, like, how do they truly feel about me because of my race? Just because of, like, the history of, our country and just everybody in general.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever fully be able to trust. I feel like in the toughest of times, like if we're butting heads, I'm always going to wonder, is something going to come up? Is he going to end up saying something that's going to be offensive, that really shows like his deep down rooted issues that maybe haven't come to the surface yet, but are, subconsciously in his mind and in his heart. So, ooh.
Okay. Have you ever, I know you have been tied down for umpteen years. Have you ever dated like someone, and by date, I'm not necessarily just saying in a relationship. Like, have you ever went on a date with anybody of the opposite race?
I have never. And that hasn't been intentional. It's not like I've seen a white guy and I'm like, oh no, I ain't going on a date with him. Or Hispanic, oh no, he ain't black. Okay. I can't get with that.
It's just I'm done.
It just hasn't happened. But that's not to say that I haven't been attracted to somebody of, of a different race than mine. But I've never. I formed friendships with people. Yeah, I've had some really close friendship with like guys of the opposite. Say opposite.
Like it's opposite sex. What? No, you have formed friendships with people of a different race and culture than you.
Yes, that.
Okay, had to redirect your words. I don't know where we was going with that.
Yeah, because the world is more than just black and white. But I've never been asked out by anybody of a different race than mine. So no. What about you? Can you hear Jonah?
I can.
For y'all who are, I don't know if Jonah's gonna be picked up on these microphones. So my 3-year-old child, is supposed to be taking a nap right now, and he is just out there belching.
Do I want to share this?
Yeah, go ahead, girl. This is open space, free space.
Okay, well, I've only ever once gone out on a date with someone of a different race than me. Mm-hmm. We went on.
I know this person, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We went on, I guess, 3 dates. It's not for me.
I was about to ask, what was that experience like?
Now the guy was nice, but I wasn't attracted like that to him.
Was that because of the color or just him? Or a combination?
Probably a combination of all.
Okay.
Like, I think there were things about him that I just wasn't feeling, and then but I will say this, because I could go on a date, and if I'm not feeling it, I won't go on anymore, because I don't like to waste people's time, and I don't like to waste my own time. But I did try it for a few dates just to make sure it wasn't nothing like in my mind saying, or, blocking me from like, okay, well, because he's of a different race than you or whatever. But it's just, for me, I just wasn't into it. So I just didn't see a point to continue on with it. Ultimately, like, I would just put it out there. I'm all about black love. So that's just where I'm at with it. But I did. Now, I never shared with you the details of that, if we're going to keep it like that. Because that's someone that so we're not gonna blast that. No, we're not gonna blast that at all. But I mean, ultimately, I'm gonna say that I really do belong on Insecure.
Well, let me just ask you.
I have some interesting dating experiences.
Girl, you got a story or two you want to? I feel like I need some details.
Oh, no.
Not a little one.
Just, we just gonna say it was just, socially awkward.
Okay. Is that because you guys just didn't really know
I'm not gonna say I
about?
wasn't socially awkward. The person was kind of socially awkward, or whatever. You can kind of tell it was like not a lot of, I won't even say a lot of dating experience with just someone of a different race,
just general.
In general,
yeah.
So that was like a big factor as well. At the time, I was like, "No, I'm good. I can't do this."
Yeah.
But
so let me ask: Would you? I know you're all about black love, but if the opportunity presented itself again, and somebody else of a different race with a little more swag or a little more a little more connected, would you be open to it? To trying it again?
I don't know. I think that just depends on where I'm at that time, and just have to see like what he's about and what he's bringing like to the table, or just his personality, all that. Like I'm not gonna say yes or no. I don't know.
Okay. Have you been? Are you physically attracted to people of a different race?
I mean, there are some attractive
people.
People of opposite races.
But some of us, may block all that. I was like, no, they just saying
no. Like I'm saying, like if you're attractive, you're attractive.
Yeah.
Like, but again, it's just something about your own. It's just like why? It's almost like why would I want to date outside of that? But
yeah, it's just home.
Yeah, it is.
It's just home. And I just feel like I can be myself. I feel like I can fully be myself. And if I was dating any other race, I don't feel like that I would be able to be myself 100% of the time. And if I were myself 100% of the time, I feel like I would be scaring the other person. I don't even know if scaring is the right word, but they may be a little shocked if they're not used to certain things that are common, within our culture.
So what about a biracial person?
Now, biracial, they already got, well, biracial as in they have some black in them. Because if they got some black in them, then yeah. I think
either or. Like a biracial person that has black in them and a biracial person that does not.
If they ain't got none, then we kind of in the same boat as we was with just like the single race person. But if they have some black in them, then I can work with that because at least half your family know a little bit, and you've been exposed to that. You lived that like your whole life. Well, not all the time.
I was gonna say that.
I'm gonna pick somebody that's lives
because I've seen some biracial people,
who aren't connected or
that aren't connected to both sides. Like they are more connected to one side versus another side because of their upbringing, who they were around,
or their family's not even being accepting of the two coming together too. So yeah, it would have to be somebody that's rooted in the black side, I think. But that's not to say, see, since I've never done it, I've never experienced it, I'm married now, but just say something terrible happened and we ended up not being together anymore or whatever, I would be open to giving it a try. But that
would be so like, Lord forbid. Okay, let's disclaimer. If you called me one day and was like, girl, I went on a date. Oh, you went on a date with who? And he was be like, oh yeah, it was, somebody that wasn't, black. I'm gonna be like, really? You? Oh, okay.
And what's interesting about that is because I don't really want to stereotype like all of our black guys, but the kind of guy in general that I'm attracted to is more of like, I'm not really into the whole swag and the player type. Like, I'm very nerd. Like, I like the nerdy guys, the video game playing guys. And I feel like there is a lot more awkward. I'm more of the awkward kind of girl. So I feel like there is more awkward, like, white guys than there are, like...
Y'all. This thought process.
So I feel like that I would probably have more in common on that aspect with like a white guy, because I feel like the black guys, they may have too much swag for me.
I'm so okay. Please elaborate. Please help me to understand.
I don't know. I just always have this, I don't know. I just worry, and I know I shouldn't do this because this is kind of part of like our discussion as far as like one race doing you wrong. Your race doing you wrong.
Yeah, because I'm already going to redirect this conversation to go towards that. So that's why I'm saying elaborate what you're trying to say.
But it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like, how can I word this? I feel like our guys, and I don't want to say all, because there are good guys in like
there's good and bad in every group.
But I feel like a lot of ours, and it may just have to do with just like our history. And there are a lot of guys that just aren't good. A lot of players, a lot of people who are heavily influenced by hip hop culture and take it to like an extreme and don't know how to compartmentalize that as like entertainment versus real life. And I just don't really want to be caught in a situation with a guy who I feel like wouldn't treat me right, and that's not to say a white guy wouldn't treat me right.
I was going to say, just like, I mean, that doesn't mean a white guy or a Hispanic guy or an Asian guy.
I don't have any experience with those others, so I can't really speak on that, but like I said, there's bad in every group. But just my personal, just what I see. I mean, obviously, I found a good guy, so it's not.
Oh, she said obviously.
So I can't really say anything about that. But I'm not really attracted to like the people who put on a lot and who are just out there and like the popular people, I guess you would say. Because to me, that would, it's like a fear of. I just feel like people who are out there like that have a greater chance of doing wrong just because they're just so much temptation, so much this, so much that. And I just don't really.
This is interesting.
So I prefer a certain type of guy. So I was never the type to like go after like the basketball player, the rapper. Like if you were if you were a street guy, and I have respect for those people, but that's not somebody I want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say with. Like
we can be because I
almost in a sense feel like there's a stereotype that you're kind of putting out there towards people in certain categories.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. That's why I say it's not right.
Is that fair? Because just because a person is a basketball player, just because somebody is popular, just because they are not the nerdy type of guy that you're normally attracted to, that doesn't automatically equate them to be a bad person that wouldn't treat you right.
Right. I get that.
So that would automatically be like, oh, you're a basketball player, so we can't really.
I would be open to it, but in the back of my mind.
That's why I was like, would you really be open to it? Because in the back of your head, you're already going to have.
I would give it a fair chance, but I
can't. But can you really say you give it a fair chance?
Yeah, I would go into it open, but if something were to go wrong, I'd be like, well,
something could go wrong with the nerdy guy.
I know it can. I know. I'm not saying the way I'm thinking is. I'm not a perfect person. I mean, I have my flaws, obviously. Everybody has some kind of prejudices or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, that's just my comfort. My comfort is I've seen a lot happen on all those ends, so I just want to stay away from people who are living certain lifestyles. Because that's just not a lifestyle that fits. So if the nerdy guy does me wrong, he does me wrong. Whatever. Anybody can do me wrong. Like you said, the nerdy guy, the doctor, I expect them to be cheating with all the nerds.
Okay.
With all the nerds.
Basically, what I'm hearing is that everybody
can do wrong, but I just
don't really, like nobody.
I just don't really like
the nerdy gamey guy.
I just don't really like flashy people because I'm not a flashy person like that. So I'm more of an introverted person. So that's just kind of who I'm more attracted to. Mm-hmm. I'm just more attracted to introverted. That's just me. I don't want to be in the club all the time, so I don't want a guy that's going to be living that life. I just don't.
This is so interesting. And her facial expressions are like,
you see it,
killing me right now.
And that's not even just for that's not even for black people. That's anybody.
I'm glad you specified that because I was about to ask you, are you just like centralizing that comment on a black guy?
No, that's for anybody of any race or culture who lives that kind of lifestyle where they're flashy and they're out there. I'm not gonna want to talk to you. Period. I just feel like our personalities won't really match. We may have things in common, but at the end of the day, just being realistic, if you're out doing stuff all times of the night, I'm just not going to be comfortable with that. It's just not something that I'm going to want to be around. If you're in the streets, I wasn't brought up that way. So I wouldn't want to date a street guy. We can be friends, but it just wouldn't be for me.
So this brings me to talk about people that choose to date outside of their race. Mm-hmm. That comes with, there's different decisions that kind of steer them to that point. Mm-hmm. Some could just be they're just open to trying dating whoever. Like it just doesn't matter. They're just open to dating different races. But for other people, their decisions are more steered towards because they've had bad experiences within their own race. That steers them to start dating outside of their race. Do you have an issue? Well, I'll say this. For people that have bad experiences with their races and that decision alone drives them to date outside of their race, that kind of comes with a fine line for me, because just because you've had a bad experience with someone within your race, or a couple of bad experiences, doesn't mean that the whole race of that group is bad. And when people start kind of putting out that self-hate, or start talking down on their own race because they're choosing now to date outside of their race, that's when I have an issue.
Yeah.
Like, that's when my issue kind of plays in, when I see people, women and men, especially with us in the Black community, when they're choosing to date outside of their race, and they're putting down Black women. Like, when a Black man is putting down a Black woman, that bothers me. Yeah. Or a Black woman that's putting down a Black man, that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not for the self-hate at all. We've all had bad experiences in dating. I don't care if it's with your own race, or if it was somebody that was of an opposite race than you. But that doesn't mean the whole population is bad. It's bad. Like, it's just bad people in the world. Yeah. And that's with any group or whatever. So for me, like, the self-hate that drives people to date outside their race, and they're putting down their own race as a sense of, like, entitlement, I guess. Or like,
or that another race is going to be better.
Right.
Yeah.
That really irks me. Like, I can't stand to see it. I don't like it. I feel like, now, if you just happen to, you're open to it, and you just happen to fall in love with somebody, that person just for who they are, and not because you feel like they're better than your own race or another race, or that they can do something for your status, because that's another thing that drives people to kind of date outside their race, because they feel like it will do something to their status and elevate them. If you just happen to just meet somebody that is opposite of you, and you fall in love, and it's genuine, great.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with that. That's why I will stick to my original comment, love doesn't see color. But when it's for all those other reasons, I can't get with that.
Yeah.
I can't get with that at all. Self-hate, I just don't like it. Like, I can't stand Black women is this, and Black women ain't this, or Black man is this, or Black man ain't that. And I can only attest for our community, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we do it worse than anybody else. Yeah. So that's kind of where I stand on the whole self-hatred part. Do you have anything to add to that?
I just kind of want to clarify what I was saying earlier. I just want to make sure it's clear. My comments about, I was just saying Black because that's who I date, but my issue isn't with like Black people. It's more so lifestyle choices as opposed to, well, Black guys is a Black guys, because there are Black guys in every, we can put everybody in every, in their own groups for every culture. So I agree with you. Like, I wouldn't not date somebody of my race because I had a bad experience with somebody of my race. I'm not going to completely shun all Black men because one or two, did me wrong. At the end of the day, there's one person for you, or two or three, depending on if you believe in soulmates or you don't believe in soulmates or whatever. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the end goal is for you to spend your life with one person. So every person you meet is not going to be that person. So I don't think it's fair for you to jump outside of your race and say, well, this Black guy did me wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and go over here with this white man because white man do that. You don't know what the white man do until you get with the white man and see he doing the same thing to you that the Black guy was doing.
Or have some
deeply issues.
And he really don't like Black people.
Yeah, those are, it's like character issues. Like a person treating you bad has nothing to do with you. It's just like them, their makeup, their history as a person, their history with their family, how they've grown up, their bad experiences, the things that they've been exposed to. So it has nothing to do with anything else besides that individual person. So I agree. I do not think it's fair for us to completely shun our own race, thinking that the other race is going to be better. We saw how that race treated us in the past, and how they still treat us today. And again, that's not to say that all white people are, behave a certain way or think a certain thing, because you may very well come across a white person, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, who don't have those same views. But I mean, just look at the history of the country. You can't just say that this white person is going to treat me better when we have proof that they they really don't. And if they have biases, I mean, because we too have biases within, like, I just named, like, some biases that I have.
You did. You straight up did. I was like, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. We
have, like, certain biases based on things that we see or we're constantly being pounded with in the media. We just kind of had this media discussion.
We did. Well, yeah, about a month ago.
But we constantly see these images all the time, and they just naturally, you're going to form your own biases based on that and your experiences or whatever. But I would say switching to another race isn't going to fix that issue. Mm-mm. That's going to take some deep internal work, and I probably need to work on myself too, but I'm locked down now. So I'm not really looking to to do any of that right now. But yeah, that's what I got to say about it.
Oh, okay. So we already kind of talked about will we date outside of our race, why or why not. We did not touch base on though what would we want that to look like if we did seriously date outside of our race, like if we ended up in a relationship or a marriage with someone that was not the same race as us.
What we would want that to look like?
Yeah.
I would want it to look like any loving relationship, whether that's the same. I mean, I would want it to look like the relationship I have now, where somebody like cares for me, I care for them, we take care of business, we take care of our kids. I know this is kind of fairy tale-ish, but I would want the world to, to view us as we're supposed, as normal people, as we're supposed to be together. I wouldn't want to have those negative, those looks that we, get when we're walking down the street,
the grocery store,
or we're getting pulled over.
Why he with her?
Yeah.
Why she with him?
I just want to live a normal, happy,
Yeah, no, I feel the same
life.
way. If I ended up in a relationship with someone that was a different race of me, at the end of the day, I want that relationship to be centered around God and to be centered around love, and for that to be pouring out of us.
Right.
Like, when you look at me and you look at him, you see a couple that is truly in love with each other, fully, trying to walk in their purpose, being good people, being good friends, being good family members to, to their family, the community, all of that. Like, I wouldn't want anybody to look at us as if we didn't belong together or that we shouldn't be together. In this world, that would happen though. Like, those looks will come, whether I ended up with a white guy or Asian guy or a Hispanic guy, whoever. Yeah. Those look like that kind of stuff. That's not something I can control. So how another person would view that, I wouldn't have any control over that. But as long as he and I was secure and our love for each other, our relationship with each other, none of that other stuff ultimately really matters, because I'm all about love. So if we're together, and again, if we together, then we're together for a reason. Yeah. Because one, I'm not just out here with anybody anyway. So if we get to a point to where we're together, then that's really my concern. That would be my focus.
So how do you go about merging cultures? Because if you're in a interracial relationship, you have to kind of account for both, because the way you do things and the way you're brought up is going to have, is one culture, and then his culture is going to be completely different. I think that's going to
take a lot of open discussions with each other, and a lot of this should happen anyway, even if you are dating the same race, because just because you're dating the same race doesn't mean your background and your upbringing is the same.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a lot of open discussions to understand the differences of our cultures, the differences of our upbringings, the way, why I view the world the way that I see it, why I view relationships or friendships or certain issues in the world, why I view them the way that I view them because of my race and my ethnicity. And the same for him. Like, what was your spiritual and religion upbringing? What does that look like for your family now? Like, what are your family traditions? Like, how do y'all resolve issues within the family? How do you communicate? And just like all of that, like from communication to cultural specific traditions that you have, like it'll just take a lot of time and continuous time to learn how to blend those together. And I don't feel like there's no secret recipe for that, or like no perfect recipe for that. It's ultimately going to take two willing people trying to take the time to learn each other's cultures and differences, and ultimately come to probably at times where there may be some times where you really just won't get it.
Yeah.
Because you're not the same race as me, and vice versa. So
to go into that a little bit further, not getting it, is there a line that person can cross that would make you be like, no, this isn't it?
Probably.
What's that line? Say everything else is like perfect, like in your love for this person is just unmatched. What would be the line that they could cross to where you just can't work past it? And would that be with them specifically, or is there a line that the family could cross that would, or would the family have no bearing on it at all? Say everything with him is perfect, but the family,
like my whole thing is, and this could just be me, and I may have a different perspective on this. Like when you, specifically marriage, when you marry somebody, you're marrying their family. Yep. Like. And as much as we kind of want to be like, I don't care what mom and daddy think, I don't care what brother and sister think, like you're dealing with that every day. You know what I'm saying? Because that family is connected to your significant other. Yeah. So you're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to face it. And me personally, like I don't want no separation like that between family. So if there's a family dynamic that is not working, that is something that's going to ultimately eat at me and drive me like away to the point like I could really probably like this guy, but
not like love. This is love.
Like love, whatever. Like, but if that family dynamic ultimately like they just don't like me or whatever, because like that, I feel like that's going to be hard for me to deal with on
a daily basis,
because you don't like me or you have some kind of vendetta against me because of my race. Like that's not going to be okay with me. I could love your son all day and he could love me, but that will be an issue. And like how to resolve that, I don't know, because I personally haven't been in that specific experience, but I know for a fact that will have a toll on both of us, as it should, because he shouldn't want his family to treat me a certain kind of way. And
he may not, but he can't control his family.
He can't, but there could also, like, I see this just going multiple different ways, because he's picking me, that could cause a rift between him and his family.
And like, you don't want that either.
I just see this being a whole situation.
So what line could he cross personally?
I think if you get to a point to where you're just not trying to understand, like just not trying to, like at the end of the day, we're gonna have different perspectives about some things, but when there becomes that barrier of where you're not even trying to understand, like even if you don't agree or even if you just don't fully get it because you haven't experienced it yet, but if there comes a point where you're just not trying to like get it, or I feel like I can't communicate with you about some things anymore, like that, and then like if I start picking up on like any little thing to where I even kind of even hint that there are some deeply rooted issues that you may have towards my race.
So what if he called you like the N-word in an argument?
oh, that's not going to be acceptable.
Would it be, and it's not acceptable, but would you be able to forgive him if y'all had to talk about it? Or would that be like the beginning of the end of the
that
relationship?
Might be the beginning of, because if that's a whole other conversation, but if that's not your race, that's just not a word you should be saying.
Period.
So that's that.
Okay.
That is that. Like, I don't have whatever. Yeah. So how does the public's view of interracial relationships impact, or what am I trying to what am I trying to say? I can't get my thoughts out. What is the impact that the public has on interracial relationships? Like, how they view interracial relationships, like how does that impact the people that are in interracial relationships?
I think that depends on the couple, because for me, public view, I wouldn't care so much about. Now, in a personal, like family, people who are closely to us, obviously I'm going to care about how they feel. But just like with anything else in life, I don't really care what the public have to say or how they feel about me, because who are you to me?
Yeah.
Like, you're nobody. So I think that's going to depend on the couple and how strong they are within their union and within themselves, to where does the public opinion of them in general bother them and shake them to where they can't really live their lives, or that's all they focus on is that negative. Or if they're a little bit more strong in themselves, to where they're just like, whatever, I don't know you, you're not in my life, so what difference does it have? The only time I can see it really being an issue is if it becomes like, if there's like harassment or things happening to you physically where it is bleeding into your life and it's actually impacting you. Like, opinions are one thing, but people actually, I can't think of the right word, but exhibiting actions towards you that are threatening or dangerous, then that can have an impact. And just depending on what city you in or what town or what highway you're driving down, you just don't know what you may come across.
I don't know why this just came to me, but maybe a few months ago, I was having a conversation with a young lady who is married to a black man, but she is not black. She is Hispanic. And I may have only talked to her a couple of times or whatever, and she had made a comment that kind of said that she was having a hard time making friends because she just felt like, because she was married to a black man, that nobody wanted to get to, like, really know her or whatever. But now, mind you, I don't even know how we got to this point. We were kind of talking about like different things altogether, but you know me, I'm kind of picking apart
everything
that's being revealed in a conversation.
Yeah.
So I asked her why she felt that way, because I said, now I'm not saying that there are people that probably haven't given y'all looks or whatever, because y'all are an interracial couple, but little things that I picked up on in this conversation shows to me that you have a problem with either like yourself, or you're very concerned about how people are viewing you, and that you on your own are having hard times connecting with other women. So I said, instead of just saying that you think that you can't connect based with other women and form friendships just because you're married to a black man.
She's kind of projecting that.
I was like, I feel like it's kind of a projection that you're putting out there, and there may be other reasons as to why you're not connecting with other women and being able to form friendships with other women regardless of their ethnicity. I was like, because it sounds like just in general that you have a closed mindset to certain things anyway. So, and I don't think she was expecting me to say what I said. But I told her, I was like, I just feel like you're closed-minded to some of the things. And I said, I told her, I was like, I'm not trying to say that you haven't gotten looks, because you probably have. Like, that's just the world that we live in. But just picking up on little pieces of this conversation, like, it ain't just them. It's also you.
So since we're talking about giving looks, How do you feel about interracial relationships in general? Have you ever seen like a couple walking down the street and like gave a double take or thought anything about it when you seen it?
So I have this thing, and I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I pick up on energy,
Yeah,
or whatever. So if I can see a couple, like whether it's a same race couple or an interracial couple, I just pick up on energy, and I can look and be like, oh, they look good together, or they work together, or whatever. And I can look at somebody else and be like, something may be a little off or whatever. But my second looks is not just typically because I see an interracial couple, but there are things that I see within people because of the energy that they're putting out, where I could tell like, she's probably only dating this guy because of something that he, some kind of status or something that he's giving her.
Or
she feel like
vice versa. He's only dating that girl because he feels like she elevates his status or something. Yeah.
I pick up on that kind of energy. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, typical.
Okay. So how would you feel like in the future and you have a child and they bring home somebody that's not of the race? Do you think you'll feel any kind of way about it?
No, I feel like if they bring somebody home of another race and they are like, if I see that they are happy and loving and whatever, like, that's not gonna bother me.
Is part of you gonna be like, man, I wish they had stayed, because we're all about black love?
I'm about black love. Like, that's not gonna change. Like, that's not gonna change. I'm just about black people, so that is never going to change. But just because I am all about that does not mean, like, if I have a child, if I have children and my children fall in love with someone of the opposite race and that just happens, I have no control over who God has for them. So, like, that doesn't matter. That ultimately doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Like,
I'm the same. I will say,
but in the black community though, like, don't you bring home and
like,
if they can't use the same brush as you, don't bring them home.
I mean, I think initially I'd be like, oh man, I wish that it was this, but I would be accepting of them bringing, as long as that person was good to them and treated them right, I'll be.
Now, if I can see they ain't right,
then
then we're gonna have a problem.
But I think initially, like the first thought, I'm like, oh, I'll be bummed, but I'll still be happy for my child if they found what they were looking for. But I'm like black love too. I just
I'm just
love it.
I want
my black kids, and I don't.
Issa Rae said, I'm rooting for everybody black, so I just want black. Like, I really just want healthy black love. Like, I just want us to just be out here breaking all these stigmas and these stereotypes that we have against our people, against our relationships, against our broken homes and marriages and all that. Like, I just want to see these generational curses just completely broken.
And it's just so many mixes going on. Not that there's anything wrong with a lot of mixing, but I don't want our race to just become extinct because we're not reproducing with each other anymore. We're not loving each other anymore. So we won't have like our history anymore. Moving forward. So that may be bad to some people, but
I mean, that's real.
That's just real life.
That's real. I mean, no, we can't have a complete erasing of our people.
We can't become extinct, man. We too great. So do we want to talk about biracial children?
We can.
And what their experience may be like.
I mean, technically I have biracial nieces and nephews.
Yeah, I'm like, you firsthand can see it. So have they experienced anything based on?
To my knowledge right now, I don't know that they have. But I will say that because of my younger two, like my youngest niece and my nephew are a very light complexion. Yeah. So there will be times where I would have my youngest niece, and I've heard people make comments like, oh, that's a pretty white baby. Oh. And it is like of like our race. Yeah. And I would look and like, that's not a white baby. Like, she's light complected, but she's not a white baby. Like, let's get that all the way together. So it's like although she has not, or those two have not, cannot communicate to me that they have felt some kind of way, like me as their aunt, I've heard the comments of just because of their, for my youngest niece, her complexion being so light, that she has been mistaken for a race that she isn't. And I'm like, no, baby.
Yeah.
That baby got black in her. So let's get it all together. Let's get this all the way together. And then it's just like, you hear these comments and it's like, how are y'all so bold to just
be saying
this stuff to people?
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty white baby. First of all, this baby ain't white. She has white in her, but she's not just 100% white. So she has a black daddy. And she has a biracial mother. So
I think for me, obviously I don't have any biracial kids or anything, but there are interracial relationships within like my family or whatever, with cousins and all that. The only thing I'm really concerned about, that I wonder about when it comes to like raising children that are biracial, is what impact that has on that child's identity. Like, do they feel like they have to pick, one side or the other? And how do they come to themselves and know, who they are? Because they are both people, but I feel like a lot of times some people feel like they have to lean more in one direction or the other. So I'm curious about, maybe we should interview like a biracial person and kind of see what they're...
In season 2, I think that would be a good thing for us to do. Because I can imagine the push and pull that biracial children or biracial people have experienced in their life,
because if you're
like being pulled
in different directions, because for one group you may not be black enough, they may be like, well, you're this and that, and it's like, what the heck does that even mean? Then in the other group you're too black, like you're not white, so it's like, well, what does that even mean? I'm just me. Why are we still focusing like on color instead of character? And
so I think it'll be, in a sense, too, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me a little concerned in a sense of kind of what my youngest niece and my nephew will experience.
Yeah.
Versus my 2 older nieces, just because of their complexion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's interesting, too, because a lot of people have also mistaken my sister-in-law's, her ethnicity. I've actually gotten a lot of times like, is she Hispanic? I'm like, no, she's not.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, she is not Hispanic. She is black and she is white. So yeah, I think as life continues, like with my nieces and my nephew, we'll probably have this conversation again, and I'll probably will be able to share just a lot more on what they're experiencing in school and just in, with people, and the things that they will probably share with me or whatever. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious about our listeners and what their experiences are, whether you are in an interracial relationship, whether you are a biracial child. I'm curious as to what your experience has been and how you've gone about maneuvering.
Or if any of our listeners are in an interracial relationship. Yeah. Like, I would love to hear about your own personal experiences within your relationship. Like, how do y'all have conversations about the different cultures? Yeah. How are you trying to mesh the two to come together? And then just your experiences like with your families and other people, and if people are accepting of you or if they are not accepting of your relationship with someone that is not of the same race as you.
That's right. So let us know in our comments, y'all. We can keep the conversation going.
Yes.
All right. Since we're at an hour, we need to just do advice episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something
like bonus episodes
will be advice.
Yeah, because we be too into our topics, y'all. We ain't got time. So we have to do separate segments for y'all. But anyway, okay. So with that, y'all know we love to end the show with everything nice, some positivity, to get your weeks going off to the I can't talk to get your weeks off
That's
to the right
started off so hard with all her stereotypes.
I know.
So now she don't have nothing else to say when it
I
comes to
know.
everything nice because
Don't
she
come
didn't
for
put
me,
it.
y'all.
She put it all the way out there. I was like, wait, what?
I did. Don't come for me. But so yeah. So what's your everything nice this week?
My everything nice in honor of the wedding weekend that I just experienced is to support your friends. I know that in this life,
Yeah.
we can become so consumed with our own lives, basically, like our own responsibilities, our own schedules, just our own everything. And it really does mean a lot to be able to like support your friends and then when they support you.
Yeah.
So just being able to travel this weekend and be there for my friends as they got married was really like, it was sweet. It was well worth the short, well, I won't say short, but it was a very quick turnaround trip for me. But it was well worth it just to see them like in their moment of love, and then just just to see it, experience it, and be a part of their special day. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
my friend is married. So yeah, just support your friends. Like if they're doing whatever it is that they're doing, whatever it is they're trying to do, whatever it is they're trying to break away from, like show support to the people around you. It really goes a long way. Really, 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 truly goes a long way.
All right. So for me,
Y'all see how she just like that energy went from like boom, like she came out the gate with her stereotypes earlier, and now she's just like, well, for me is what we went from hot to cold.
Well, because my everything nice is all about the calm and the namaste.
Okay, all right.
My everything nice, guys, is to take some time to just meditate. And not even just meditating, just taking some time to yourself, like at the end of the day, the end of a long week, a long month or whatever, and just getting back connected with yourself and your mind and clearing all of that energy out and just renewing yourself and refreshing. And I say that because like this last month for me has been trash. It's just been trash, period. It's been too busy. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really connect with myself at all. Like I'm just busy and I'm worn out and I'm tired and it's just too much. But my saving grace has been just taking a couple minutes to just like breathe and just like be one with myself. Honestly, I've had a couple days where I've been able to like get back into, but really explore like yoga and just, stretching and just being in tune with everything. And that has made a world of difference just to end my night that way, or just laying there. If you have an Apple Watch, you have or a Fitbit, they have little apps where you can just take a minute to just like relax and breathe and clear your mind. And it's made the hugest difference. It's everything to me. So I say in those times where things are getting hectic and life is crazy and you just feel like it's too much going on, just take a minute to yourself, decompress, and just breathe.
Yeah, you really got to find the time, like squeeze in the time wherever you can squeeze
it
in.
in. Like it doesn't have to be a 30-minute or an hour workout session, a yoga session. Just laying there for a minute, really.
Yeah, I know that we are planning a mental health episode, so I won't go too far into what I'm about to say, but like you, it's 2020 has been it's been something, and my primary focus honestly has been trying to keep intact my emotional, mental, and spiritual health. So that has at times been kind of up and down for me, just with things that I'm experiencing, whether it's just with work, school, people, trying to figure out what my next steps in life are going to be, sometimes not knowing what those things are going to be or how things are going to come together. I don't know if you saw a post that I had put on my Instagram, where I actually put up a note that I had in my phone where I was talking about some of the things I was struggling with.
Oh no.
But I was questionable about sharing it. But I'm glad that I did, because I actually had a lot of, not because I was looking for anybody to say anything about it, but it touched a lot of people and helped other people with what they were experiencing, just to know that they weren't alone in some of the things that they were experiencing. So keeping your emotional, mental, and spiritual health intact is it's work, but it's important.
It's very important.
And that's something we are going to dive very deep into in coming episodes.
Yep.
So I won't go too far into it, because I could probably talk.
Get y'all a whole nother hour.
A good while
on
it, and just kind of picking things apart and really understanding the root causes of things, and how you're really learning, like you're continuous to learn about yourself and why you feel the way you feel. So, and then being able to identify what is triggering you to feel the way that you feel, and how to manage some of the things that you feel. Because some things won't go away, but you have to change your perspective of how you interact with whatever that thing is, whether it's a job, a person, a situation, or whatever. And then some stuff you can remove.
Yeah.
So, but that's another episode. I don't want to go too deep into that, but it's coming. So, and Chelsea is going to pick that thing apart.
So y'all be ready for that.
Y'all be ready.
All right. So we reached the end of episode 10.
This is episode 10, the end. That's it.
All right. So we just want to always continue to thank you guys for supporting us and watching and listening and rating and reviewing. Y'all keep doing that. Keep spreading the word. Keep tell a friend to tell a friend. Come check us out. We are listed on Apple,
Spotify,
Google Podcasts,
TuneIn Radio,
iHeartRadio,
and those just recently got added. So our platform has extended.
Has expanded. And we're on YouTube and we're on Facebook at Sugar and Spice Podcast.
And we really have to do better about using Facebook.
We do
not.
I have to do better about using any social media platform. Period. I'm learning, y'all. It's a lot. I don't know how y'all be on there every day, all day. I just can't. One day though. But you can follow me personally, Robin, at NC Virgo on Instagram.
And you can follow me at Chelsea_Diamond_.
And you can follow the podcast at Sugar and Spice _podcast.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
And
whoop,
y'all
whoop.
know how we like to end it. With a song.
Hey. It's the podcast life. It's the podcast life. It's the podcast life. With Sugar and Spice. Yeah, back it up. 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 Hey. You got your bars?
Nope. Bye, y'all.
See you next time.